Today we're going to share some queer wisdom. What is that? It's wisdom that accepts people for who they are. It's inclusive, affirming, celebrates diversity, and loves above all else. That's what Jesus modeled and taught, and it's so different from what the non-affirming, rules-based church teaches. We talk about the validity of church as a construct, and we share with you 15 things that queer culture teaches that straight culture doesn't. This is going to be so much fun.
Would it be okay if I were to tell you that I am afraid someday? So I call you up and you call me down. Would it be okay?
Well, hello and welcome to the FreedHearts podcast. My name is Robert Cottrell, and I'm here as always with
Susan Cottrell.
Hi there.
Hi.
How are you today?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Please connect with us at freedhearts.org. We are coming up on something special that I want to talk to you about just briefly before we get going today with our queer wisdom. We always have queer wisdom, but today it's focused on queer wisdom. We are going to take a break and pause new episodes of the FreedHearts podcast starting next week. It'll be our last week of new episodes, and then starting October 9th, we will be on a break. This will be a time, beloved, for us to refresh, reset, be together, be with family, listen to Spirit for details as we plan and develop new episodes and other really cool stuff, some exciting projects, and something else going on. What is it? Voting. We encourage you to vote too, please.
Dun, dun, dun.
Shortly after Thanksgiving, we will resume with exciting brand new episodes featuring fresh, relevant content, and we're going to focus now, moving forward, more on affirming, inclusive messages. It was necessary to truly deconstruct core issues that often get in the way of someone being fully affirming or in the way of someone knowing that they're truly loved and beloved. Thank you for listening and for your wonderful feedback, life-changing for so many. We appreciate the feedback that you've given us. For those of you who might have had your fill and your arms are sore, your heart is sore, had your fill of the heavy deconstructing, thanks for staying with us. Thanks for still listening. Please keep listening. This is like a refresh button for you. We're going to go back to our heart, which is love, affirmation, and inclusion, freeing hearts to love and be loved. We treasure being on this journey with you. So for this 2-month break, we're going to do something really special. We're going to share our top episodes of all time, a couple per week. So look for those posts on social media. And remember, we will be back with brand new episodes shortly after Thanksgiving. It's going to be exciting. Do you have anything you want to add to that? Or
No. We really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here with us and love you very much.
Yeah. So today we are going to share some queer wisdom. So what is queer wisdom? It's wisdom, for me, it's wisdom that accepts people for who they are, which means you're fully inclusive, you're affirming, you celebrate diversity, and that's so much like what Jesus lived and taught. And just to be honest, it's so different from what the non-affirming, rules-based church teaches. Now, remember that Christianity as we know it really didn't exist until a couple hundred years after Jesus.
It's astounding.
I know. There's a whole list we can share sometime of things that were not part of the first 300 years of Christianity. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. And we hope you now know that some of the core teachings that we've talked about during our time of deconstruction are part of that. They were not part of the early church. Some were not even part of the church until the last couple hundred years. But during this period, right after Jesus, it was all about what you did for each other, for the community. It was about love and caring and support and being there for each other.
Love with boots on.
Yeah.
Love in action.
After that, it became about what we believed. And that was at the time of the Nicene Creed, is that right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And and
council
yes, the
that
council
makes these decisions. Yeah.
And it became, instead of about what we do, it became about what we believe. That's what defined us, according to that council, as a follower of Jesus. Jesus would be horrified, and is probably. And it became about us versus them. Those who believed, which is natural, isn't it? I mean, if you define us by what you believe, like if that's the definition, then there are those who believe that, and there are those who don't. There's us, and there's them. Mm-hmm. And that, beloved, is the teaching of contempt. So, Susan, you and I were driving, Susan, just talking about the validity of church.
Yes.
As a construct. And I'm going kind of off on a tangent here for just a moment. So come back, Susan, come back to the room. There are those of you listening who, understandably so, want to burn it all down. Who are not part of a church anymore, will never be, don't want to be, and you're deconstructing. You're here with us to love and care for yourself, love and care for your LGBTQ family members and friends, and to deconstruct and heal from the religious trauma of being part of a rules-based, non-affirming church. But there are those of you that are listening that are still part of a church, that still call yourself Christian, that still are part of that community. And that's great. There's not a right or wrong answer there. That's following your heart and
spirit,
and your spirit, and which, as Jesus said, will lead you in all truth. Mm-hmm. So there's not a right way to go here. That decision is between you and God through Spirit. But we want to kind of talk about for a moment about this construct. I mean, church is a construct. Does it work? Is it working really? And we were observing to each other, some churches have become, fully affirming, and that's wonderful. They become fully affirming and inclusive, and they're great. They're doing great community. They're doing wonderful work, you know, and that's an idea that whose time has come, long overdue.
Yes.
And that's great. And that's wonderful. Our issue with that a little bit is that I don't want to step on toes here, but there's still the issue of the hierarchy and the budgets and the patriarchy and there are a lot of churches out there, some churches out there, too many churches out there that say, okay, we're affirming, but it's based on the same foundation of performing, following the rules, performance-based. You know what I mean?
Yes. And is that what we really want?
Well, no. It's you want to be part of a fully affirming, inclusive community that also honors women and people of color and serves the poor and does not spend these lavish amount on golf carts and mansions and budgets. You know what I mean? So it's all of that for me. And that's the foundation that needs to change. So we came up with a kind of a whole different foundation for what is a progressive or woke church, what that would look like. And we made a list. And you want to share this with us?
Yeah.
And this, by the way, this is the opposite of that us versus them teaching of contempt that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And you can probably see that as we go through this list.
Yes. The opposite of contempt is respect. And the opposite of the teaching of contempt is the teaching of respect. Imagine if that's what we taught every Sunday morning, into infinity.
Well, there's no longer us versus them. It's us.
Exactly. So these are the basic tenets of what a church based on Jesus' actual life and teachings would look like.
What a cool thing that would be.
Yeah. The world's amazing.
I'm assuming first it's leave your shoes at the door, right? Because it's like...
Yeah, because the Jewish culture that they were in.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, that would be cool.
The Barefoot Church.
I love it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Number 1, the world is amazingly beautiful and whole and workable. It is not fallen. We could use a few good work days with some good elbow grease here and there, but it is not fundamentally broken. Just look at the beauty and goodness all around. Number 2, you are not broken.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
You are not broken.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
You are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You are good exactly as you are. Just look at that heart of yours that's drawn to goodness, that hopes for a better way.
Let me say that whenever Jesus interacted with, whenever someone that the church, the religious leaders considered as broken or fallen, came into a story or a scenario involving Jesus, like the woman that was washing Jesus' feet and that kind of thing. Never one time did Jesus correct the woman or the person.
The outlier, the one accused.
Yeah, the outlier. It was always the religious leader that he had the message for, the lesson for, you know. You're not broken, beloved.
Number 3, your heart is deep and it's good, not a smidge of wickedness, unless you want it. It is good.
And you
it is good the way it is.
And you say your heart is deep versus...
Yeah, but versus your heart is wicked. Who can know it? That's so...
Yeah, to see that, that's right. Yeah, the true meaning of that text is your heart is deep.
Yes. Number 4, God is over the moon for you. Full up joy and delight. Your picture's on God's fridge. There is no chasm you need to cross. God would not like you better if you would just get it together. God could not love you any more or any less. God's love is whole and complete, and you are right in it. You have nothing to prove.
I read, I mean, God is literally and figuratively over the moon. So.
That's true.
But I read something that God has never been mad at you a single moment in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. All that is man-made.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5. Your heart wisdom is valid. Your heart has a built-in fail-safe compass. You know what's right for you and what's not. This may not feel true because you've been told the opposite for so long. If it's been next to that strong magnet of you don't know, you can't trust yourself, then you may need to recalibrate it to defrag it from the strong pull of fear. You can just close your eyes and ask your heart and listen. Inside your heart, your heart is very good, and you are very good. You know that? Mm-hmm. Remember, this creation's very good. That's you. Okay, number 6. Your feelings are valid. They are, in fact, a good gauge of whether something is good for you or to pursue it or not. If it delights you, do it. If it does not delight you, don't do it. This goes against the puritanical thinking that if it feels good, it must be wrong. But you were given those feelings for a reason, to help you navigate. Food that has gone bad tastes bad and smells bad, so you won't eat it. And the things that feel bad to you are things to avoid. And this one probably deserves a whole episode because that teaching against that is so deep.
Yeah. I mean, why do you think that the rules-based non-affirming church or religion would teach something opposite than some of these things?
Yeah, because it marginalizes and it gives us a them. It gives the us a them.
And it makes us feel very guilty and shamed, and which when we're in that state, when we're fearful, we're very easy to manipulate.
Let me just say these again in the capsule.
Sure.
Of these 6. Number 1, the world is amazingly beautiful and whole and workable. It's not fallen. It's not broken. Number 2, you are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. There's, your heart, it doesn't need to be fixed. Number 3, your heart is deep and good, not any wickedness in there. Number 4, God is crazy about you, fully and delightfully, and there's no chasm to cross to get to God. Number 5, your heart wisdom is valid. Listen to it. It knows what's right for you. It's what is that called? A northern star, right? And number 6, your feelings are valid too. They're to guide you in the direction you are that's best for you to go.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for that. That's wonderful.
You're welcome. Okay, so while we're at it, Rob found another great list that we thought would be fun to share. It's 15 queer things culture teaches you that straight culture doesn't.
Yeah, 15 things queer culture teaches that straight culture does. I love queer culture. As I look at and follow social media people who are queer and even programs like RuPaul's Drag Race and just all kinds of other things there, that the stuff they impart is just profound to me. And it's so simple and so pure, yet so profound and life-giving. And I just love it. And I saw this list and I thought we would share it here. Again, here are 15 things. We'll go back and forth if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah.
So 15 things queer culture teaches that straight culture doesn't.
Okay. Number 1, you don't have to get married if you don't want to.
Yep. Hashtag purity culture. Number 2, you don't have to have kids if you don't want to.
Hashtag I'll do what I want about that.
Hashtag mind your own damn business.
There you go. Number 3, it's nobody's job to flirt with you or be flirted with. If you're into someone, do the work and tell them.
This is great stuff. Number 4, people will judge you and reject you without knowing you. This isn't your fault. You are not the broken one.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. You're not the dysfunctional one in that dyad. Number 5, your clothing and hair and other style choices are to make you feel good, first and foremost.
This stuff is just so good. I mean, I hope you hit rewind as we're done with this and just go back and hear these again. They're so good.
They're so good.
Number 6, signaling to your people is the secondary job of hair and clothes, but don't dress for them. Be you, they'll see it.
Number 7, anyone who judges you badly for your hair and clothes is not your people and can fuck off.
Yeah. Number 8, physical affection in public is an act of deliberate courage. Hear that. Oh my gosh. That just makes me almost tear up.
Yes.
Imagine that. Imagine if you're out with whoever you love and you may, many of you may have experienced this and you just can't hold hands.
Yeah.
Or you're afraid. Physical affection in public is an act of deliberate courage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 9, family is a matter of choice. Loyalty is a two-way street. Yeah.
Yep. Number 10, mental health is important and it's hard. Anxiety and depression are natural reactions to the world.
Number 11, sensitivity isn't weakness. It just means you pay attention.
Number 12, people who think sex only means a penis in a vagina deserve pity. They don't deserve better sex, just pity.
Okay. Number 13, everyone who's interesting reinvented themselves after their world fall apart, just like you did.
Wow. Number 14, community is a safety net from an unfair world. Let it catch you when you need it. Catch others when you can.
Number 15.
Finally, number 15, yeah.
Don't live your life for anyone else's happiness. Live it for your own, damn it, and share it.
Wow, that's just so great. I mean, oh my gosh, I love that. I love that list. Beloved, that's some really profound, wonderful stuff that queer culture teaches. And if you want to think back, you can kind of rewind, play it again, and think kind of how straight culture doesn't teach that. But that's stuff, thank you. I don't know the source. It was a random thing that I found. And so whoever did that, if somebody knows, let me know, please. But whoever did that, thank you very much. Beloved, we love you so much. We are so excited to be on this journey with you. Your picture is on God's fridge. And if you send it to us, we'll put it on ours too. We love you. We're so glad. Thank you for being on this journey with us through all of this stuff, through this adventure that is deconstructing and learning to affirm and healing from religious trauma and moving forward and loving ourselves first and loving others. And we're so honored to be here with you. And
Yes.
Thanks for listening. We love you, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yep. See you then. Bye.
Bye.
Would it be okay if I were to tell you that I am afraid someday? So I call you up and you call me down. Would it be okay?
You've been listening to the FreedHearts podcast. We have extensive resources and vibrant, inclusive community for you at freedhearts.org. Please just come say hello. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions for the podcast, just email us at podcast@freedhearts.org. Audio engineering is provided by Luke Johnson. The music is provided by our daughter, Hannah Cottrell, who is Grammy nominated. You can find out more about her and her music at hannahcottrell.com. Please share, subscribe, and follow on your favorite platform, and support us if you can. Thanks for listening.